I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it. It's a ridiculously bold statement to start this podcast episode. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say the thing that you think I'm going to say, although I will say that probably in 90 seconds. What I am going to say is that was the best Saturday of any major I have ever watched in my whole life.
Because we're doing this every day, and hello and welcome to another Masters review of Golf is Ruining My Life. Because we're doing this every day, we're getting loads of feedback from you guys, and all your comments and stuff are just gorgeous, and we love it. And thank you so much for everything you're saying in support of us doing this every day. It feels like we're watching it together, which I absolutely love. And keep the comments coming. What are you enjoying about it? What do you think is making this year special? Because we're doing this, I sat down at 7 o'clock this evening. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm not in the studio. I've had to bring my mum back to South Wales, and I'm in a nana's house in South Wales. There's no way of getting around this.
As soon as as soon as we started this call, Tom, I said it looks like you're in your nan's house, and you said, "Well, in a way, I'm in a nan's house." I think it's perfect.
She's a prolific nan. She has several grandchildren. We started at 7 o'clock. Oh, here comes my nan's cat who's nearly dead. I don't know if you can see this cat.
Oh my God.
Oh, can you see her, Daisy? No, don't get in shot. You'll soil the shot.
I'm really sorry if you've come here for like a big debrief of what's been the best day of any Saturday at any major. And so far we spoke about Tom's nan and her cat that's almost dead. You see, this is the difference between us and the Sky Sports Golf podcast. The guys over there aren't doing this sort of gear.
I don't know how Nick Doherty's parents' cat is. I have no idea. Welcome in, man. Welcome in.
And I'd like to know, actually, Nick.
Exactly. Yeah, if you could, Nick. I know he's a fan. Can we just sort of appreciate the fact that? So what I was trying to get around to saying was that for the first time in many, many years, I've sat down at 7 o'clock this evening and I've watched the whole thing. I've barely moved. I stood up to have some chicken tikka masala.
Lovely.
And then I had a pot of chocolates and I've eaten them and I've just watched the most incredible round of golf. And can I say, Tom, and I wonder if you've had this as well, also rounded off beautifully with that Bryson birdie on the last. Bryson on 10 under at the end. What a way to end.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Just amazing. Everything about it was Hollywood. But have you had this? I wonder how many of you have had this watching the Masters this year. How much of watching the Masters do you spend on WhatsApp?
Oh, God. I spent so much time on TikTok, on WhatsApping you, on speaking to my friends. That first hour of the play today, and we're going to get into it, talking about what Rory did, coming out with a birdie and then an eagle. And then was it birdie, eagle, birdie?
Yeah, I mean, he was basically treating Augusta like a pitch and putt. He started with threes. He went 3, 3, 3. I think it was 6 threes in a row. And
which is a course record, by the way, never been done at Augusta before until today.
Unbelievable. I have done that once at a par 3 course, and it was the highlight of my year.
It was such a great start to Saturday. There were so many questions going into today about what Rory was going to be like, taking it into the weekend. So much pressure on his shoulders, and he came out with a rocket up his arse.
Yeah, amazing. But
so did everyone. Everyone started this Saturday on fire. There was about an hour's worth of coverage where it was just birdie after birdie after birdie. I don't know if you felt this, Tom. The first hour of Saturday at Augusta 2025 had back nine Sunday energy.
Yeah, it did. It did have Sunday energy to it, and it felt like it was the last day. It felt, maybe it's the live thing where they're used to, wrapping things up after only 3 rounds, but it felt very strongly like they were going for the finishing line. Now, it reminded me of cricket. Are you a cricket fan or not?
Absolutely not. There's only one sport I like, and that sport is golf.
Yeah, fair enough. I quite a bit of a cricket fan, but it's when you watch a short form cricket match and suddenly Test cricket, which lasts longer, suddenly became, because there was so much short form cricket, it became more intense and people were going for it more, and it felt like that. It reminded me of watching Test cricket after all the short form cricket had kicked off. It was just like people were going for it in the moment. They wanted to explode and make it happen now. There was something incredibly instant gratification about the whole thing, and you've got to give a lot of credit to that, obviously, to the players, all of them, everyone doing it, but Rory, because Rory set that pace and set that tone and has made the whole field go, well, okay. And there's only one person, let's be honest, in that field, obviously the numbers don't lie, there's only one person who's come close to matching him, and that's Bryson. And it shows you where we're at now. I mean, it was just incredible to watch.
Sitting on the sofa just before it started earlier tonight, there's still a lot of talk about Rosie and could he do it? And what it felt like is that he had a great round on Thursday. He held it together on Friday, but then the big boys turned up on Saturday and they found a different gear. This is what everyone kept saying, and this is what I completely agree with. These golfers like Rory and Bryson, they're not playing to their top standard on Thursday and Friday. They're cruising, they're getting it done. And both Rory and Bryson found a different gear that sets them apart to everyone else that Rosie just didn't have in the locker. And you could just feel it, right? Everyone else was foot on the gas, going for it, and it felt like he was sort of clinging on for dear life.
I don't know, man. I felt like Rosie was pretty imperious the first couple of days, but he had the inevitable wobble. You just can't be expected.
It's going to happen.
You're going to have the wobble, right? And Rory had his wobble over those 2 holes on the first day. And, Justin Rose has had his wobble on the Saturday. It was heartbreaking watching him on 16, watching Rose miss that putt and do that. And he's one of us, man, doing that thing where when he's got his putt for bogey, he's three putted there from 4 feet or something ridiculous.
Ridiculous, I know.
And he's knocking that last one for the bogey. He barely looks at it, and you do think, no, Justin.
No, just give it a read. It's funny though, isn't it? It's like there's certain golfers where there's a look in their eye and there's a swagger about their walk down the green. Like Rory had that swagger. He did that. The classic Rory thing is he stripes one down the middle and he's after it straight away. Yeah. He has that. Yeah. And Scotty Sheffler was just the opposite of that on Saturday. It's weird to see him off the pace a little bit. Like normally I would say Sheffler is boringly good. There's no fanfare. He's just everything's perfect. But it was weird to see him put stuff in the bunkers and be a little bit shaky. This wasn't the Sheffler that I expected on Saturday at Augusta.
No, I know. I mean, obviously, he's been hanging out with Dunlap. That's clearly what's happened there. Not fair.
Tom, we can't. I feel bad about that. No. Don't. Did you see his post? Too soon. We shouldn't. He was sad. Yes. He's a sad man. He was really sad about it. I get it. He was mortified at the scoring. And
I think it's his audition to be a co-host on Golf Is Ruining My Life. I think that's what Dunlap wants to do. He's heard we're the UK's second biggest golf podcast. He wants to join us. I get it, Dunlap.
Absolutely get it.
It's heartbreaking what happened to him, but I love the way he's responded to it actually, and I love his post on Instagram about this was awful and sport can be awful.
He really opened up about it as well, which I think is really important and stuff. And massively important. He said so often in this game you only ever talk about the highs, but he's like, I've had a crushing, devastating low, which is in front of everyone, and now I've got to come back for that. And I'm like, you know what? Well done for mentioning it. Because, but this is the thing is when everyone was talking about it, people are talking about it because it's a big story. You shot, what was it? You shot 90 or something, right?
He shot 18 over, 90.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it because it's a story. I'm not laughing at him. Jesus Christ. I'd take 18 over on some rounds of golf. Do you know what I mean? I think we can all just relate to it. I think that's the thing is that's the thing about that.
He missed the cut.
We can all go, been there.
He did miss the cut. Getting back to the sort of just the sensation of watching the whole thing unfold today. There was sublime, there was ridiculous. There was the moment, did you see when Victor Hovland was in the trees and he was mic'd up and you could just hear him going, oh no, from the trees? I loved that.
Yeah, it was absolute fireworks out there today. I thought Bryson took a lot of heat on the commentary, if I'm honest. Yeah. I want to bring this up because I thought, there was a lot of stuff on the commentary about Bryson not being able to control his irons. And there is a storyline about Bryson DeChambeau that it's all muscle and no finesse. And I completely disagree with that. I think people have got in their heads this story that Bryson set out maybe around COVID where he bulked up a lot and was all about the long drives. And people are really struggling to get over this and work out what the new Bryson is. And I don't know. I thought you don't need to talk about Bryson that way. And I think he's a second in a major. He's an unbelievable golfer. And I think sort of putting him in the box of, he's just a long drive. He just slams everything as hard as he can. I don't think that is his game. I don't think that's true.
No, I think you're right, but I'm not sure that's quite, because it was Faldo who was really leading this in the commentary, watching it on in the UK on Sky Sports.
We get it, Faldo. You don't like DeChambeau. We get it. Okay, we get it.
I'm not sure. I think you're misconstruing it a little bit, Tom. Just for clicks, if I'm honest. I was listening to what Faldo was saying when Bryson hit a beautiful tee shot and birdied 16, and he hit it was his irons. That's what he was saying. He wasn't saying Bryson doesn't have touch, because that would be mad to deny Bryson's touch. Bryson around the greens is unreal, and he was brilliant today with his touch and his innovation and coming off huge humps and stuff. He was fantastic, right? The point he was making was that with his irons, with 7 and 8 irons, don't forget on 13, Bryson hit something ridiculous like a 7 iron in on a par 5, and he sprayed it because he didn't have touch there. That's what he was saying. Faldo was really, really pinning him there, saying, look, he's hitting a 7 iron here to get on in 2 on a par 5, and he's 2 or 3 shots off the lead because he's world class. Like, that was everything that Faldo was saying. And he's just sort of he's hoofing it left. And then, and this is the important bit, he did the same thing on 15. He hoofed it left and Faldo started ranting. Then Bryson got up and down and got a birdie. So, the point stands there that, well, you're criticising him there, Faldo, and he got a birdie. What Faldo was saying was, with those long-ish irons, 7 iron, 6 iron, whatever, 8 iron, he's not got the subtlety and the distance control, which is what you need to win at Augusta. He's still incredible, but the thing that has set Rory apart, and the reason Rory is 2 shots ahead, is distance control. He is unbelievable at knowing how far those shots are going to go.
Yeah, I think I do agree with that. I just think sometimes, because Bryson's approach has been so different and his style of golf is so different to anything that's come before, that, if you played golf in the 80s, there was no one playing golf like Bryson. He's come in and he's completely changed this sport. And I think sometimes he can be a bit of a kicking boy by golfers who don't understand that and don't like that new type of golf. I'm not saying Nick feels that way, but what I'm saying is there's a certain type of golfer who just doesn't like change and sees him as this new boy who is quite loud. And he's the one that said, I think, when he made silly comments about Augusta in the past, saying that it was a par 68 or whatever. He's come a long way from that. I just think that sometimes he's a bit of a kicking boy, but he's the only golfer, I think, who can challenge Rory tomorrow.
He's the only one out there who's got who's doing the things he needs to do. It's clear, isn't it? There is a gulf, really. Let's be honest. There's a raised creek between Rory and Bryson and the rest of the field at the moment, and it's worth. And we've talked about Bryson a lot, and that's why he's brilliant for the sport, right? Because we've ended up he's a conversation point in himself, right? And the thing that I just want to say about him was, did you notice in between every hole? You go through that corridor of patrons, as they are called at Augusta. He's high-fiving, he's fist-bumping. And you watch every single other player in that field. Every single other player. None of them are doing that. For whatever reason. And that's fine. That's not a criticism of other players at all. That is a celebration of what Bryson's doing. I love that. I absolutely... It's like he's filming one of his YouTube videos. Why not?
I saw Lowry give one of his balls away to a fan as well in one of those between hole moments, and I think it's so important. But I get what you're saying, and I actually agree with you. Listen, these guys are at work; they're fighting for their lives. If they want to have heads down and just ignore it and get in the zone, I actually totally understand why that would be the case. But I couldn't agree with you more that it's so nice to see Bryson engaging with the younger fans and giving them time. And do you know what I mean? Like, that will make kids' days. Yes. Like going to Augusta and going, oh my God, I got a high five from Bryson DeChambeau. They'll remember that for the rest of their life. I think that's so cool. The question mark is, Tom, is there enough water between Rory and everyone else to mean he can cruise tomorrow? So this is my concern. I want to take everyone back to 150 at St Andrews, okay? Rory, I'm pretty sure he was in the lead on Sunday. And he had a really cruisy round of golf. His putting was all over the place. And the quote I always say about this, which I think is true, is Rory didn't lose 150. Cam Smith won it because he attacked it. And this is my concern, is McIlroy has to keep attacking tomorrow because he can't just sit back and hope it comes to him.
He has got to go out there tomorrow and try and start 3-3, 3-3. He's got to. He's got to think.
We go again.
For me, what I love about Augusta, I love everything. There you are. That's that bit done. For me, what defines Augusta is I would say the 2 par 5s on the back 9 is 13 and 15, right? And on 15 especially, when you consider that's where Rory took a real hit on the Thursday. And yesterday, on Saturday, he hits an incredible shot and he gets the eagle. He hits an insane shot in. The second shot in, his iron shot in on 15 was brilliant. And that is pure attack and belligerence in the face of difficulty. I don't care about the water. I know I went in the water on Thursday. I know I double bogeyed this hole. I don't care. And you will not sustain that frame of mind if you're going, oh God, just get a par. Because the fact of the matter is,
hold on.
Go on.
Yeah, that's why he can't just hold on, right? That's the point. He can't just, he needs to, I'm not saying hold on to you. I'm saying, Rory, you don't hold on. You need to attack.
That was like you had breaking news. Hold on. I've just heard Rory hasn't signed his card properly. And he had 15 clubs.
Rory, hold on. Come back.
I have got some breaking news, though. Who here fancies some lovely ads? Do you? I do.
Soothe me with products. Right, welcome back to the Golf is Ruining My Life debrief of the Saturday at Augusta National, the Masters 2025. I'm only just warming up, Price. It's midnight here. We're technically into Sunday morning. Yeah, we've watched every bit of the play today. I was thinking about something in my head, and which is normally where you think about things, luckily.
Sure it is.
And
it is.
Nick Doherty on the live broadcast stole my line, and I'm furious. But I'm going to say it anyway because I thought about it before you said it, Nick, right?
Go on.
They often say a tournament doesn't get going until the back nine on Sunday. Today couldn't have been further from that. Everything that happened today, the energy of everyone out there was absolutely ridiculous. It was... I don't think I've done... today what I did say, like you said, I don't think I've sat down from the first tee and not moved for 4 and a bit hours just watching everything. I saw everything from Rory.
I loved it so much. And the fact is, as I've mentioned earlier on, I am here at my mum's house in South Wales. And as a result, I don't have my dogs to deal with. I don't have my kids making demands of me. And I don't have my adorable, gorgeous, I'm so lucky to be with her wife, asking me endless questions about future logistics and, who's picking up which kid from where next week. So I could just sit on this chair and just immerse myself in it. And what was the spark, do you think? What has made this such a special week? Is it the weather? Is it Rory? Like, what is it?
We had a moment when we were texting earlier and we said, and I know this is dramatic, but I stand by this. We said this is a Masters for the ages. And there is something about it. There is something about this year that really feels that way. I think it's the chasing pack. I think the amount of amazing golfers and the amount of fan favourites that are there in contention, whether it's McIlroy, DeChambeau, Ludwig. Obviously, people love Ludwig after last year. Yeah. Lowry's there, Sheffler's there, Rosie's there. There's so many individual stories that are flourishing throughout Saturday in a way that you don't normally get.
Yeah, completely agree. So look, we've talked about Bryson. Rory, he is looking at a career Grand Slam. And it's worth just taking a moment to talk about the career Grand Slam. This is when a player, over the course of their career, wins all 4 of the majors. And there are only currently 5 people who've done that. Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Tiger Woods, right? That is it. Yeah. Those are the only 5 people in all the hundreds of people who have played professional golf to an unbelievable standard. Think about the people who are left out of that list. Arnold Palmer never did it. Greg Norman, Faldo, Ballesteros, incredible players, never did it. And today is the day that Rory McIlroy is in prime position to do it. And I don't want to jinx it, but ultimately we have to say he is looking so good, Tom. And he's got a 2-shot lead. Bryson's going to love it. Bryson is going to love it.
There was a really interesting question posed to us on TikTok, and I would love to discuss this on the podcast. So let's picture the scene. You're on the 17th. It's Lowry and it's Rory going head to head. Does Lowry pull back to allow Rory to win based on what he knows it means to his friend? What do we think?
No way would Rory let him do that. No, there's no way he would do that. No, these guys are absolute, they're good friends, but they are sports people, and they are.
Can you imagine though going into that with your good friend? It must be such a magical moment to stand on a tee at Augusta with someone you've grown up playing golf with, to know what it means for both of you. But as Shane Lowry, to really know what it means for Rory to put himself in contention here. Because looking at the stats as well, he was really in contention at the start of his career, but over the last few years, he's missed 2 cuts over the last 5 years. This has been a competition he's really struggled with, and that's why this is why I love this sport, because 5 hours ago, I sat down and I was like, Justin Rose, what are the chances? And I said to my wife, I was like, do you know what? He might still be here. He might still be in the contention zone.
In the pack,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Based here now on very early Sunday morning, I don't think he is. I don't think he's got what he needs to do.
You can't. He's rattled, man. Those putt misses are rattling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am just fascinated to wind the clock forward to very early Monday morning if we're having the conversation of, oh no, Rory got in his head again. Or as he looked over those last few holes, he was unshakable. He was just chilling.
You've got to look at the pack now, and do you know what, Tom? There's only 3 people left in the Masters, I would say, this year who have not been badly rattled, who look like they're enjoying themselves. I think there's a huge amount of players who have had painful moments and who look scarred, like boxers. They've got cuts on the eyebrows, right? And look at Justin Rose missing those short putts, Shane Lowry missing those short putts, Victor Hovland screaming from the bushes somewhere, disappearing off into the woods. Everyone has been hurt. There are 3 players, as it stands at the moment, who, they've taken some blows, of course, but they are thriving. And those 3 players for me are obviously Rory, obviously Bryson. And the third one who you've got to watch on Sunday is Ludwig Åberg, because that guy is young. It's his second Masters. He is enjoying himself. He looks full of energy and enthusiasm in a way that the rest of the field just all look, and he doesn't have that about him. So you watch Åberg tomorrow. If he comes out the blocks tomorrow and does something crazy, he will put pressure on as well. I bet you.
It does feel mad as well that we're not talking about Corey Connors as well, because he's there at 8 under, and I don't know loads about him. I'll be honest, I don't know loads about him as a golfer, but he's had a really steady Saturday as well. So you can't discount someone like him. If Rory has a bad Sunday and it all goes a bit wrong and DeChambeau's spraying it everywhere, you can't discount someone like him just staying there, posting another, couple under, 4 under, whatever, and going on and taking this. But who do you think now, after Saturday play, who do you think is going to go and do it tomorrow?
Rory. I think Rory's going to win the Masters 2025. I really do. I think if it didn't mean so much to me, and I think loads of our listeners and viewers just love him, and the amount to which it means stuff because of the story, because of the gap, because of the US Open last year, because of his passionate, PGA Tour stuff, because of all the story about Rory. If you set all that aside, you'd be looking at it going, Rory's going to win it. But the emotions that all of that storyline give it means that we all think, it's too much to ask. So you have to park that and go, just look at the golf. And if you look at the golf, that guy is playing out of his skin. And if he can just keep that momentum going, and he's been doing it all season, really. He's already won on the PGA Tour this season. I just think he's going to do it. And I think, and here is another tepid take from Golfers Ruining My Life.
Ah, yes, your favourite tepid takes.
Well, we've said this before, but Bryson, week in, week out, plays on the Live Tour. He's done his 3 rounds. There is an element of how used to playing 4 rounds is Bryson at the moment. And these are marginal gains. Of course, everyone's going to go, of course he's used to playing 4 rounds. But actually, 4 days at high competition, they're doing that week in, week out on PGA Tour. They're not doing that on Live. If that means Bryson drops 1 extra shot, that's significant. These tiny little things can make a big difference.
Yeah. I think Bryson's a really good golfer. I really do. We all know this show. I'm a big Bryson DeChambeau fan.
Yeah.
I think he can be a killer at times, and I think his head game is really good, if I'm honest. I think not that it means less to him, but everything that you've just said weighs on Rory's mind every single day. Like, he knows stepping on that tee on Sunday, he's got the whole world behind him. And yes, loads of people like him, but there are a portion of people who also dislike him, and I think he's very conscious of that as well. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to do what he needs to do tomorrow. But I do think, I'm going to say it, I do think it's Rory's year. I think he is going to, there's just something about the way he's played today that I think it's all been building up to this. Do we think if he clinches it, right, are we going to have all the amazing Rolex adverts about like everything that had happened before that have led to this? Are we going to have like all the Tiger stuff? Is it going to be the Rory stuff going forward?
Well, he's got to be, man, because career Grand Slam. He deserves the slow motion montages. Can we have a frank and open and honest discussion, Tom? How much money have Rolex been making that they're putting these adverts out on Sky Sports where they basically sort of fold in Callaway and whatever, like random golf club brands. And they say, oi, we want to use, or Nike have been in loads of them, we want to use your brand in our advert for some watches. Like the Rolex adverts are insane at the moment.
Yeah, they're amazing. But the story of Tiger winning again at Augusta,
yeah,
and what they managed to create with the Rolex stuff around that was and is amazing. It gives me shivers, that advert, and makes me. That's why I love that sport, love this sport, and love Augusta, because you have moments like that. And the more, because we've been so knee deep in it this year, there's so many things that I've learned about. When you learn what they can and can't say on the commentary as well, it's funny because you start picking out when you go, oh, they'll get told off about that. I heard someone refer to it as the driving. It was Butch, I think, referred to it as the driving range. And I was like, oh, he's going to get told off for that. It's not the driving range. It's the practice facility.
No, it's not.
Oh, God, yeah. There's no driving range. You can't say driving range at Augusta. It's the practice. It's not front nine and back nine. You can't say that either. Loads of stuff. Wow. Obviously, they're not fans. They're patrons. Patrons, we all know that, because the people that go to fans, they're not fans. Is short for fanaticals, and we're not fanatical here at Augusta. It's brilliant.
Is that right? Is fans short for fanatical?
Yeah, that's the whole reason.
No,
that's it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's interesting actually watching it, because there's been a few moments where you've heard fans shouting stuff. You know, the stupid mashed potato nonsense and whatever. There's been a couple of those, and you think, oh, that's not very Masters. But broadly, you really notice it as a viewer at home. I mean, the irony is we're all wrapped up in our phones on WhatsApp, messaging each other, going, oh my God, Rory's going to win it. But the fact that none of those fans are on phones is it's really enjoyable watch, because you haven't got a load of phones up the whole time, and people look engaged. It is a nice thing to see, I think.
Yeah, I watched an interview with Niall Horan from One Direction fame, who, if you know, is a big into golf. He owns Modest Golf, who are Tyrrell Hatton's management company. And he said he loves walking around Augusta because most people don't care, and the people that do care don't have a phone to get a selfie. So he just cruises around doing his own thing.
That must be nice. Basically, it's like being us, to be honest, Tom. It's like being normal, essentially.
Just like walking down Oxford Street in London.
How do you feel about Tyrrell Hatton? He's sort of blown it a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was a little bit all over the place at times. Who was he playing with? He was playing with Sheffler. This is what I did think, watching them play together. Do you think there's because I have this, if I go and play 18, if I go out with a hacker, I can sometimes find my game dragged down a bit by the person who you're with. Do you think they had that with each other? Because they were both a little bit all over the place. Do you think Sheffler's like, bloody gutted I didn't get Rory? So if it was with Rory, I'd have had a bit more oomph.
It wasn't a good two-ball. I imagine people would like playing with Rory because he's quick. That's always the most important thing to me. I mean, admittedly, I'm not a professional golfer, but I would find Tyrrell Hatton extremely hard to play with because of this. He verbalizes everything. He's always talking, and that can be quite fun for the commentators. And often, as I saw on the Friday coverage of the Masters, on 2 separate occasions, the commentators had to apologize for bad language from Hatton, which is just
we can only apologise if you overheard. Clearly tense situation. Was it Justin Thomas's or was it John Spieth's caddy? Did you see John Spieth? It was one of the two. I can't remember which one. Saying to him after he put it behind a tree on 18, he said, "I'm so frustrated," and the caddy was like, "Yes, I know. Get over it. Just get over it."
Is that what the caddy says?
Yeah, just get over it. You got to get over it. Get over it. That was a really cool story, and also an amazing story, which I know we're coming to the end of the podcast. I need to touch on quickly. There was an odd number of golfers who got through to the weekend. So playing out there, I don't know who he played with. I should probably know this, but they're playing out there today was just a member of Augusta National who was with someone to mark their card.
Oh my God. There's a lot of people in the crowd who are going to witness his scores. There's TVs, there's cameras everywhere. You don't need a witness. Can't he just use my EG like the rest of us?
Yeah, they sent out there's this member of Augusta who's a CEO of a finance company. The guy's an absolute baller, 300-yard drive, and has just played Saturday at the Masters. Sorry, unbelievable.
That is absolutely insane. Could you imagine if they sent someone out and it was his old Fred? He's 82.
Bless him.
He does take a while. He's very slow. He reads his putts for a long time.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Oh my God.
He's also known to wee in Rays Creek.
So listen, Tom, we're going to do this again tomorrow. We will be here again tomorrow at a ridiculous, silly o'clock, taking you through the last day of the Masters for you to listen to on Monday morning. Don't forget, you can find us on all your podcast platforms and give us a follow on YouTube. We are Golfers Ruining My Life. Tom, I've got... my first question to you is this. in fact, it's my last question. It's the only question. If not Rory, who for you do you want to win the Masters?
If not Rory, then Bryson. But I'm gonna make this very clear. I've had my ups and downs with Rory over the last 6 months. You know, as an English golfer, he's one of ours. Ryder Cup legend. Obviously, I love him. He's made comments about YouTube golf, and I found his attitude sometimes a little bit stressful. But fundamentally, he's a great golfer, and he's great for this sport. So, I would be overjoyed if he won today/tomorrow.
Can you imagine Rory McIlroy putting a green jacket on? Like,
it's a great look.
I think it will really suit him. I think it will work with his eyes.
Oh God! Right, I'm ending the podcast here. Right,
I think it will.
Okay, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. This is awful. He loves him so much. I guess this is why I struggle with Rory also, because I know how much he likes Rory. So sometimes you sort of go the other way with someone really likes him.
I would say, for me, if not Rory, Oberg. That's my guy.
There we go. Right, okay, make sure you like and subscribe on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube, and we'll see you same time next time for the final Masters special on Sunday night, as, yes, they're crowned in Augusta, but they will also be crowned on the Grum podcast. So, see you tomorrow.
Bye.